Welcome to my Module 1 Personal Introduction for EDL 856 School Community Relations. Hello, my name is Patrick Jackson. I really love to have fun and have always had a desire to enjoy every single day in what I do, and I try really hard to bring that to students and staff in my building. I am a PE teacher, and it is my desire to be able to make sure that everybody wants to come to school, whether it's students or staff, the people I'm around, try to spread that as much as I can. I'm really passionate about finding ways to make other people successful outside of myself. And so I try really hard to figure out what I can do as a PE teacher to give students the opportunity to figure out what it is that they enjoy doing and how they can utilize that to be more successful at school. It's something that I found works really well to engage students and build relationships. And it's also something in the last couple of years I've also been trying to do with staff members, trying to encourage them to find other ways to implement things in our building, and is one of the reasons why I am headed down the path of administration. The school I work at is in Wichita, Kansas, USD 259. It is Gordon Parks Academy. It's a K-8 magnet school. I've been a teacher for 9 years, all of which in physical education. At my building, I am the team lead and on the leadership team. I'm the head of the behavior committee. I run a club called BASE, which is Better Academic and Social Excellence. It's a Males of Color initiative to try to close the achievement gap as middle school students move into high school. I'm also the boys basketball coach at my middle school and the head track coach at Southeast High School in Wichita, Kansas. Personally, I went to Wichita State and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Education with emphasis on physical education. I was on the track team at WSU. I was a jumper, high jump, long jump, triple jump. I even was able to become a captain by my senior year. Had a huge impact on what I do and how I do things, and actually one of the reasons I became a PE teacher, as I found a desire to figure out how the human body worked and find the best ways to function. And in doing so, became a huge Shocker fan. So whether it's volleyball, softball, baseball, golf, I enjoy everything Shockers. Let's see. Some hobbies I have, anything competitive, chess, pickleball, volleyball, golf, basketball, football, whatever it is, I like doing it. If I have a chance of just being competitive and finding ways to work with other people to do that. Fishing is a big hobby of mine, especially this time of year when it's starting to get warm out and nice. Looking forward to going and doing some of that here pretty soon. And recently, because of HelloFresh, I also like cooking. So I have two pets, Audrey, my cat, who I've had since college, and Blakely, my new 8-month-old puppy. Communication and answering the content questions. As we read through the articles, found a lot of interesting things, but let's start with things that I use to communicate. My district allows us to have an email that we can use to communicate, and it's probably the main source of communication I use, whether it's with other staff members, families of students, or what be it. It's free. I use a Remind app. That way I can communicate mass messages to students and athletes on my teams. They can respond to me, but they can't respond out to the group, and then they don't have to worry about sharing their contact information with other people. District phone, I do a lot of communication with families over the phone, calling about things I can do to help students become more successful, or hopefully come up with plans to help students be successful, as well as calling other staff members or other people in our district. I use a personal Twitter account to post things from my class, things that we're doing that are fun, and sometimes utilize it for assignments to get families engaged. And then we also have a school Facebook page that I am an admin on and able to post on, following certain district guidelines. As far as things that I wish I had, I wish there was a video analysis system I could have set up to better communicate what students are doing and give a visual, whether it's a Huddle account or Coach's Eye, both of which have free versions, but the free versions don't offer the ability to communicate and send out to others. So that would be something I'd be looking forward to using a little bit more. Our school is a media arts magnet, and so it'd be nice to find a way for my content area to fit into that. And I feel like video analysis would be a great way to teach students how to take control of their own learning in PE. The impact on my introduction in my professional life, I try to introduce myself a new way at the beginning of the video. So a couple things that I found really interesting is what is it you would like to be known for? I think that's pretty important, not just introducing yourself as what you are, but really reflecting on yourself as what it is that you've done to get where you are and why you're important, communicating that to others, developing a value for yourself. What you've acquired and achieved is not who you are. That was a pretty big quote to me. I thought you could rattle off and list off all the things that you've done, but it doesn't necessarily represent who you are as an individual. And just like I said earlier, when you want to add value to who you are to other people, some people find it disingenuous for you to just rattle off a list of things that you've done or accomplished. It'd be a lot more valuable to tell people what you've done to make an impact, or what you feel like you've done to make an impact, not so much just what accolades you've acquired. Let's see. The third thing I thought was really useful that had an impact is asking your friends and colleagues for input. After reading through that, I actually emailed and messaged out to a few friends and colleagues to ask them a pretty generic question just about how they viewed me in a professional light. And as it said in that article that we read, you'll tend to see common themes, and it was really funny getting that feedback back from those people. Hearing some of the things and reading some of the things was very similar across the board. So I thought that was pretty good feedback and a good way to reflect on maybe things that you've forgotten you do well or things that you overlook because you're more focused on what you're trying to do well, not what you've already done or how you've impacted other people. So, and then that leads to the fourth one, reflecting on how teachers introduce themselves to students. I thought that was a really important one, more for the reflection piece, just thinking of how teachers, as I grew up, introduce themselves when you're trying to build relationships and be open and not create a power struggle in the classroom or with anybody. How you introduce yourself plays a big part in how they perceive you. And so when you introduce yourself and don't find any way to make it an opening for other people and invite them in as well to introduce themselves or be a part of it, it does kind of have an authoritative tone to it. And I think that finding a way to introduce yourself as a human being and make yourself a little bit more vulnerable is a really important part of how people are going to perceive you moving forward and what decision they're going to make about you after the first 30 seconds. Our district does not have any policies on effective communication. There are policies on how to use emails and social media responsibly, and for the most part, setting guidelines for what you can and can't do. But there is no actual policy on effective communication. There are a lot of pieces within policies that talk about communication, and that's more governing the validity of issues and claims that come up. So if you're not providing correct or appropriate communication about issues, that can be something that turns around and causes a claim not to be validated, or if you're using a piece of communication as evidence and you didn't present it the right way to the right person, it can be overlooked or put aside. So there's a lot of pieces within policies about how to communicate effectively, but not an exact policy for that. And probably just more guidelines that focus on best practices, using common sense and hoping that people communicate well to build relationships and not tear them down. So that is my Module 1 presentation. Looking forward to this class with everybody and hope to see good things and get good feedback. Thank you.